About 310 on that one. All right, everybody, welcome back to the best damn training channel on YouTube. I know it's been a minute. I'm sorry, I apologize. My bad, please forgive me. My fault. It won't happen again. Probably will happen again, but at least we're back now. So last week I had a lot of stuff going on. I had my birthday on the 26th. I'm officially 40 years old now.
I'm a man, I'm 40. I'm not a kid.
I had a friend come into Iceland to come hang out for my birthday. I had my daughter's birthday party. I had a lot going on and it just became a really busy week. Also, it was a deload week, so I wasn't training the training itself wasn't anything special. It was the same stuff y'all have seen for the past few weeks, just done at lower intensities and lighter weights. So I thought to myself, it's like, you know what? I had a little birthday weekend. I got my daughter's birthday. I got a deload week. I'm just gonna kind of take a week off from creating content and reset for this week. And now we're into like the nitty gritty of this Unit 3.0 program where we're getting to the last 4 to 5 weeks here. We're gonna start ramping up the intensities on a lot of stuff. We're gonna start getting a little bit more specific towards some of the things that we're gonna be testing, and we're gonna get after it a lot harder over the next 4 weeks or so. So today, what we're starting off with, which you guys have already seen, is I'm doing resisted broad jumps, and then I'm gonna do an unresisted broad jump. So 3 resisted broad jumps, and I'm using this band. I apologize for the angle that I have to have you guys at right now because there's probably like 30 people in here just walking and they're taking up a lot of space, and I don't want the camera to be in their way. So I'm kind of off to the side here, but I'm using a resistance band and I have it set up to where my feet are at this cone, which is the 10-meter mark. And then that yellow dash right there that you guys see is 3 meters from here. So the way I have this set up is I want to have a lot of resistance on this band prior to feeling like I'm kind of loading and jumping. I don't want there to be a lot of slack in this. So set this up in a way where you've got a good stretch on the band already. If you don't have a band, you could use the sled, just load the sled up and make it to where it's really hard to move, but it should still move. You don't want it to just be stuck there. And then you're gonna do 3 jumps as far as you can go, 1 jump at a time, and then you're gonna take the band off, reset, and do 1 broad jump normally. So kind of a contrasting set for these broad jumps. Keeps pulling my shorts down. All right, then you take the band off and you're gonna do 1 regular broad jump for max distance here. $320 on that one. All right, so we're moving into the acceleration portion for today. We're only gonna do 2 sets today for those broad jumps because each set is 4 total jumps, so 3 resisted and then 1 unresisted. Next week, we're gonna end up doing 2 resisted and 1 unresisted, and we'll add a set to that. So we're not gonna be accumulating volume, but we're gonna be trying to up the intensity on that a little bit as we continue this over the next few weeks. Acceleration work, we're gonna do 2 reps with a heavy sled, 1 rep with a light sled. We're gonna do that probably 2 to 3 times, and then we're gonna finish off with some unresisted accelerations at 40 meters. The goal here is to kind of combine these to get a little bit of a contrast. Rather than doing all the heavy reps and then all the light reps and then all of the unresisted reps, we're setting this up similar to what we did with that combine phase where we did like heavy, light, unresisted in a single set and kind of contrasted those. So that's the idea how we're setting this up today, except for we're gonna be ending with multiple reps on the unresisted. So we're just gonna be contrasting the light and heavy sleds for this first part. All right, so rest in between of these isn't gonna be too much. Probably like 60 to 90 seconds on that. Doesn't need to be a long rest period. And then after you finish those 2 heavy reps, rest as long as you need to feel fresh in order to do this next rep at max intensity. So we're gonna have 15 kilos on the sled now, and we're gonna do a 20-meter sprint. I'm gonna do this from a 3-point stance. I wanna get a little bit more pop on that initial takeoff. So we'll put the hand down on the ground. And that is 1 set. So we're gonna do that for 3 sets. So I can get the 6 heavy reps that I want done. I'll get 3 of the light reps that I want done, and then we'll end the resisted portion and transition into the unresisted. So we'll do 2 heavy, 1 light, 2 heavy, 1 light, 2 heavy, 2 light, and then we'll go straight into the 40s. And I think I got 3 that I originally planned to do. What I think I'm gonna do for the 40 meters is I'm gonna set up 40 yards. So I'm gonna give myself that 1 yard lead, measure out 41 yards, and as I sprint this 40, we'll get a little time on that for the fast 40 using the OVR system, because I wanna run a 40 now that I'm officially 40 years old. See what my 40 at 40 is. My goal for 40 is I wanna run a 4-4-40 and have a 40-inch vertical. So that's gonna be the goal that I want. I wanna run a 4-4 with a 40-inch vertical at 40 years old. But what I'm doing is the orange cone is the 40 meter mark. The OVR timing system is at the 40 yard mark. So I'm gonna do the fast 40, which is the apex setup where you get 1 yard lead into a 41 yard finish. So it ends up giving you 40 yards total. So the first timing I had down there is at the 1 yard marker. The second timing I right here is at the 41 yard marker. So I have a 40 yard essential fly zone because we're hitting that 1 yard lead in. But I'm gonna go from a 3-point stance, running 40 meter sprints, and we're gonna get some times on the 40 yard dash here. All right, rep number 1, 458. All right, a 458 on rep number 1, I like it because I feel like I got some juice still. So it's that first rep, for whatever reason, is always kind of like getting into it. Like I've done a lot of resisted sprints prior to that. So as soon as you get that sled away, sometimes it just feels off. So I did what, 8, 9, 10 total reps with the sled. So I did 6 heavy reps, 4 light reps. So rep 11 is kind of like getting away from that feeling of dragging the sled and getting into the feeling of sprinting again. So I like the 458 to start off with. We're gonna try to knock off something a little faster. 456 on that one. All right, rep number 2 felt better. Obviously the time was a little bit better, but we're gonna try and clean it up. We got 1 more rep. See if we can't get down to low 4.5s, maybe even a high 4.4 on this one. 458. All right, so overall, today was a fantastic day. A lot of volume still, even though we're getting into that phase where we're gonna be doing a lot of intensity. So this is probably gonna be the most volume on the sled that I'm gonna do, and we'll start tapering that off over the weeks as we go. Try to get something a little bit more around like the 8 to 10 total reps next week, and then probably 6 to 8 total reps the week after that. But we'll get into all the specifics of the program as we continue to go on over the next few weeks. But one thing I think is very important to talk about, and it's very important to show you guys, is that nothing special happens when you're 40 years old, right? I had a lot of you reach out to me and give me some birthday wishes over my birthday weekend, and I appreciate that. You guys are awesome. Never even met a lot of you guys, never even talked to a lot of you guys, and you guys still felt the desire to say happy birthday and all those things. So I appreciate that very much. I did have a few questions over that weekend and over the period where people were finding out that I was turning 40, and they were asking like, how is my training going to change? And am I going to focus more on longevity and all those kind of typical things, what you think, because even though I was 39, like it's still 39. It doesn't sound like you're old. But when you say 40, people are like, wow, 40, like something drastically changes from 39 to 40. My approach is going to be the exact same, right? I'm not going to train any different than I did 5, 10 years ago. I'm not going to train for longevity in the sense of like, I'm going to go light and think about doing higher repetitions and try to be joint friendly, all that kind of stuff. Like everything I do for training is longevity. Longevity is about defining how you want to be able to perform things later on in life and then pursuing that, moving in the direction that you want to continue to go. I want to continue to sprint. I want to continue to jump. I want to continue to lift heavy. So that's what I'm going to continue to do. I'm going to try to do that for as long as I possibly can. Longevity isn't all of a sudden we're going to start lifting lighter and doing kettlebell movements and doing all these goofy different stabilization. That's not longevity to me. Longevity is the ability to do, the ability to sprint, the ability to jump, the ability to lift heavy. Now, all of that is relative to the individual, and that's going to be my mindset to it. I'm not chasing specific numbers. I'm not going to try to be my fastest I've ever been in my life, but I'm going to try to be as fast as I can at 40 years old. And then when I turn 41, I'm going to try to be as fast as I can when I'm 41 years old. And the same thing with the lifting. I'm going to try to be as strong as I can at 40 years old. I'm going to try to be as strong as I can at 41. None of it changes. The pursuit is still there. Longevity is keeping that foot down on the gas and not letting up at all. It's good to be back. It's good to be training again after a deload week. It's good to be filming this for you guys. Hopefully you guys appreciate the video and you guys liked it. If you do, make sure to like the video. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. Other than that, I appreciate y'all. I'll catch you on the next one.